Case against the former reality television star moves forward. Joseph Duggar is accused of molesting a 9-year-old girl while she was on vacation with her family in 2020. Duggar did not appear at today's hearing.
Friends, have you noticed something lately? Why did the Duggar family's court case, the one making headlines almost every single day, suddenly go completely quiet? Why did this strange silence suddenly fall everywhere? But friends, here's the real shock. This silence itself may actually be the biggest clue of all. Just think about it for a moment. If the court suddenly decides that information from inside the case should no longer be seen by the general public, then what kind of serious game could be happening behind closed doors? Did Jim Bob and the Duggar family use influence to quiet the media? Or, did the court come across some explosive evidence that could damage the entire American reality TV industry if it ever became public? In today's video, I'm going to talk about the truth behind those closed courtroom doors. Why is the court suddenly keeping everything so secret? And what could really be happening behind this silence? Today, I'm bringing you an insider-style breakdown that many people are not talking about. So don't skip this video even for a second, watch until the very end. Because today's twist may completely change how you look at the Duggar family forever. And friends, before we begin, tell me in the comments, what do you think about this mysterious silence surrounding the Duggars? Do you think something bigger is happening behind the scenes? Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us for more investigative updates like this. Now, let's get into the story. Over the past few months, many viewers have started noticing something strange. The steady flow of Duggar-related legal news suddenly slowed down. The headlines became fewer. Leaks became rare. Insiders stopped speaking publicly as much as before. And naturally, people started asking the same question. Is the story over? But in many high-profile legal cases, silence does not always mean nothing is happening. Sometimes, it means the exact opposite. And this is the important part here. When a legal case becomes sensitive enough, courts often begin tightening control over information very carefully. That can include sealed documents, restricted filings, private discussions, gag orders, and warnings against unauthorized leaks. And honestly, I think many people underestimate how serious these restrictions can become when judges feel public attention may affect the fairness of a case. The Duggar family has lived in the public eye for years, through reality television, interviews, and non-stop media coverage. So when legal trouble enters the picture, especially in federal court or major state-level proceedings, balancing public transparency and legal control becomes extremely difficult. And that matters because courts are not designed to work like reality television shows. A lot of people online assume that if journalists stop reporting updates, then nothing important must be happening anymore. But the legal system simply doesn't work that way. Behind the scenes, lawyers may still be filing documents. Evidence may still be under review. Legal teams may still be holding private discussions. The public just may not have access to those details anymore. And there is usually a reason for that. Sometimes courts limit public access to protect witnesses, preserve evidence, prevent jury influence, or stop information from unfairly shaping public opinion before trial. And honestly, this is where many online discussions become misunderstood. When people hear phrases like secret documents or confidential files, they instantly imagine some giant conspiracy. But in reality, confidential material exists in many major legal cases. Especially when sensitive evidence, personal information, or active investigations are involved. And this is important to understand, because the legal system often focuses more on protecting the process itself, not protecting one specific person. For example, If lawyers release documents before a judge approves it, serious problems can happen. Witness statements can leak online. Potential jurors can form opinions too early. Media reports can spread incomplete or distorted information before facts are fully examined in court. And in some situations, violating confidentiality rules can even lead to fines or disciplinary action. That's why legal teams become extremely cautious once public attention grows intense. Another major reason for the slowdown in public information may simply be legal strategy. Lawyers often tell clients to stay quiet when media pressure becomes overwhelming. Because the more someone speaks publicly, the more those statements can later become part of legal disputes. And what's really striking here is how different courtroom reality is compared to internet culture. Online discussions move fast. People want instant answers, instant leaks, instant explanations. But courts move slowly, very slowly sometimes. Judges care more about procedure and accuracy than satisfying public curiosity. And honestly, people's frustration over that is understandable. The Duggar family became famous through television. For years, viewers watched their personal lives, relationships, and family dynamics. So naturally, many people feel emotionally invested in what happens next. Many viewers believe they deserve to know everything when a celebrity family faces public legal controversy. But legally, the right to a fair trial usually carries more weight than the public's demand for non-stop updates. And that creates a difficult balance. Because transparency matters, public accountability matters too. When a case becomes nationally discussed, people want reassurance that the justice system is functioning properly. And journalists also play an important role by reporting verified facts responsibly. But at the same time, courts cannot allow outside pressure to unfairly shape legal outcomes. And honestly, this is where the conversation becomes far more complicated than many social media discussions make it seem. Some people believe secrecy mainly protects powerful individuals. Others believe nonstop media attention damages the fairness of trials. And maybe, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. What stands out to me the most is how courts constantly juggle competing responsibilities at the same time. Protecting transparency, protecting justice, protecting victims, protecting constitutional rights. And in high-profile cases, balancing all of that becomes even harder. Another thing worth noticing is the role misinformation plays online. Whenever official information slows down, rumors usually explode across social media. Anonymous posts appear. Unverified screenshots spread everywhere. Sensational claims move faster than actual facts. And because audiences are hungry for updates, many people end up believing speculation before verified information ever appears. That's why viewers should be careful about treating internet theories like proven truth, especially when official court information is limited. There's nothing wrong with analyzing public records or discussing legal developments. But there is a difference between discussion and presenting speculation as confirmed fact. And honestly, that's probably why many journalists become more cautious too. Major media outlets usually avoid publishing claims they cannot verify through official documents or trusted sources. So when court records are restricted and lawyers refuse to comment, reporters often hit a legal wall. And at that point, they usually have no choice but to stop. To viewers who are used to constant updates, this silence can feel strange. But legally, sometimes it's unavoidable. Another thing that really stands out is how emotional these situations become for longtime reality TV viewers. People feel connected to these families because they watched THM for years inside their homes, relationships, and personal moments. So when the legal process suddenly becomes private and restricted, viewers almost feel disconnected from a story they once followed openly. And honestly, that emotional reaction is completely natural. But the courtroom is not built around audience expectations. It is built around legal procedure. At the same time, though, public discussion still matters. Conversations about accountability, media influence, responsibility, and public trust are important, especially when reality TV families carefully build public images for years. And I think many viewers are now becoming more interested in understanding how these systems actually work behind the scenes, rather than simply chasing rumors. Why do some documents suddenly disappear? Why do lawyers stop talking publicly? Why do journalists become more careful with wording? Why are hearings sometimes handled quietly? And in many cases, this silence itself becomes part of the story. Because when information suddenly slows down, it often tells us one very important thing. The legal system wants to regain control of the process. Not social media, not internet speculation, not public pressure. The courts. And whether people agree with it or not, this is often how high-profile legal cases unfold when judges believe outside noise could interfere with justice. In the end, I think this situation reveals something much bigger than just one family or one legal battle. It shows the growing tension between modern internet culture and the traditional legal system. One moves fast. The other moves carefully. One rewards nonstop attention. The other sometimes requires silence. And maybe, that's the real reason the updates suddenly slowed down. Not because the case disappeared, but because the courtroom doors partially closed, and the legal system decided that what happens next should unfold through the process itself, not through the internet. Friends, at the end of the day, this little love of yours is the real motivation for me to make a new video. So if you like today's video, please give it a like. Share it with your dear friends and give them a chance to smile too. And comment and tell us which part of the story of Duggar you liked the most. Subscribe to the channel to enjoy more such funny stories together. See you very soon in the next video. Until then, everyone, stay healthy, stay in love.